Australia's property boom is over. The bubble's burst, sentiment has dropped. What on earth is going on with big banks forecasting future rate rises, property prices slowing, especially in Sydney and Melbourne, and Brisbane, Perth, and Adelaide at all-time highs? Is the bubble bursting, or is it just a start of a new cycle? In this video, we're going to unpack a recent article breaking down the housing price cycle, how things are changing, where we might be heading over the next 3 to 5 years, and I'm going to share with you my thoughts as a professional buyer's agent and someone who's built a multi-million-dollar property portfolio that you can still, regardless of this cycle and regardless of the market changes, you can still make waves in your property journey to give yourself more choices and build an asset base that's going to get you where you want to go. So on screen here, we have some key points from a recent article talking about are rate and tax hikes ending Australia's property boom? Now, a couple of these key points. The national average home prices were flat in May, according to Cotality, the weakest since January last year. Prices fell further in Sydney and Melbourne, and the boom time cities, Brisbane, Adelaide, and Perth, are seeing growth slow. That's exactly what we're seeing on the ground in the buyer's agency in Brisbane. We're also buying in Melbourne counter-cyclically because we believe that there's value in the Melbourne market at the moment because we think it's at the start of its next growth cycle. So prices have slowed in Brisbane on the ground with our team. We've seen, even at some open homes, that we're the only people there at an open home, which you wouldn't have seen 12 months ago, that's for sure. So I still think it's about buying the right opportunities in these major city markets because you don't buy Brisbane or Perth or Sydney or Melbourne. You buy a house within a street, within a suburb, not the entire market itself. And there's always markets within markets. The housing shortage and expanded 5% deposit scheme are being offset by rate hikes, low confidence, and the budget tax hikes on investors with further fall in prices likely. Now, the speculation is that prices could fall up to 5 to 10%. In our biggest crises in property prices, we saw prices pull back 8 to 11% depending on which data house you looked at. Especially after the GFC, there was around an 11% maximum pullback in some suburbs. Now, when you compare that to shares, property prices don't fall anywhere near as far or anywhere near as volatile as well, which is one of the reasons people like property. It's why the saying's there that safe as houses when you make a property investment. But still, because sentiment is at its lowest levels, and we could have a 5 to 10% pullback, particularly in the Sydney and Melbourne mid to high-end markets, in my opinion, people are going to be nervous about making investment decisions moving forward. Next, we now expect national average property prices to fall 1% this year, revised from a 3% growth, and to fall around 5% in 2026-2027. Again, it's always going to be markets within markets. A 5% total pullback could be 15% in some suburbs, while other suburbs have 5% growth. So you need, if you're going to invest in the next 12 months, you need to make sure you're buying with fundamentals and you buy with the right value proposition specifically for your strategy. Units and lower end property are likely to hold up better due to the expanded first home buyer scheme, so that 5% deposit scheme. The tax changes also favour properties with higher rental yields. We certainly see this. We buy properties between that $600,000 to $800,000 mark in Geelong and Victoria. And in Victoria, those affordable properties, which they're not great yields, but they have a gross yield of say around high 3% or low 4% mark, compared to a 2% yield in Sydney or a 3% yield in some of the properties in Brisbane, those 4% yielders do make a difference for people's serviceability. And with the negative gearing changes, I think, as this article states, more people are going to target the affordable properties. The units, the townhouses and villas, and the freestanding houses which are more affordable are all going to be properties that are sought after. I think the middle is probably going to have a lot fall out of it, between that $1 to $1.8 million range, and then the 1.8 to 2.5 or 1.8 to $3 million range might actually have a little bit more investment pushed into it, because the capital gains tax exemption on people's own home. So it's going to be interesting to see which quartiles in terms of price points of the market see the biggest pullback in prices. And in my opinion, the lowest quartile of prices is the safest area to invest at this point in time. The article also goes on to say that the combination of a rising long-term trend in rates, poor affordability, the tightening of property tax concessions, and a political shift towards lower immigration may mean that the 30-year supercycle upswing in prices could be close to over. The housing shortage remains the key sticking point, though. Now, the funny thing here is the debate of immigration versus supply. And the reality is, if the Liberal or Labor government, whoever's in power, keeps bringing in hundreds of thousands of migrants into Australia every year, the established pockets where houses were built up 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago are going to continue to be in demand. Look at Brisbane. If you look at Brisbane, you can't build out freestanding houses in Brisbane City Council anymore. There is no room for further development. If you look at affordable options like Logan and Ipswich, there are massive areas for development like Ripley in Ipswich and Yarrabilba in Logan. But they're on the fringes. If you buy in Springwood, for example, in Logan, it's established. It's a major location in terms of shopping centres, infrastructure, busways. And then if you look at Ipswich, where I bought in a suburb called Bundamba, it's on the train line, it's between Ipswich City and Brisbane City, it's established, it's been built up 40, 50 years. If you buy these suburbs, which are established, which have relative affordability, and migration continues to happen, that's where property prices will continue to rise in the right pockets. It's not going to be a 30-year super cycle anymore. It's going to be pockets within pockets that present good value. Those outer fringe areas which have too much land supply, even though the government's incentivizing new builds, aren't going to be the places to buy. Don't listen to those property spruikers who put up their banners and say, you can get negative gearing, you can get tax benefits. We've got you covered. They do not have your best interest at heart. They want to sell you the dream of the off the plan and the negative gearing and the capital gains tax exemptions, but those are tax outcomes. They're not the reason you buy the property. When you go to resell that new build home that you've bought out in the sticks, you can't sell it to another investor who can then claim those benefits. You could only really sell to an investor that wants an established home or a buyer that's willing to pay an owner-occupied price for that property. And so in that vein of thought, I would always be looking at the established pockets versus the fringe pockets with the market. And it's always going to be markets within markets now, not a super cycle for every location moving forward. We are also talking about asking rents. So asking rents rose 0.6% in May, with annual growth rising to 5.9% year on year, as vacancy rates remain low. This is not good for inflation. Now, rents have been the talk of the town. Lots of people talking about rent rises. Are rents going to be increasing $30, $50, $100 a week? We know that the government did their own analysis and they said $2. $2 is only going to be the increase from these tax changes. Now, I don't believe that that is going to be the case. They also said with the 5% deposit scheme, the prices wouldn't rise significantly. And we saw, as boots on the ground buyers agents, a $100,000 jump in under 6 months in property prices at the affordable first home buyer range. So I don't believe for a second that Albanese government has actually done their numbers and they actually think rents are going to rise $2. I think it's going to be a $50 or $70 or $80 rise in rents over a 12-month period. The reality with rates or interest rates and rents is that we're now moving into that rent cycle. We've had a big growth cycle. It's now time for the yields to catch up. So if property prices stagnate or even fall and rents rise, property investment will look like a good opportunity again for most people in 24 months. This is why you should think about buying now. If you're buying for the long term, if you're buying for a 5, 10, 15-year time horizon, now is a window of opportunity. Tom Panos, an Aussie property commentator and auctioneer on the block, said this window of time could be one of the best buying windows we've seen in recent decades. And I tend to agree that when sentiment is low and the hype is gone from the market and people are worried about prices pulling back, that's where you can buy great opportunities specifically for your circumstances. In my journey, I bought 5 deals in the last 12 months, and I'm recycling some of my deals. I'm selling down 1 asset a year the next 5 years, and I'm buying commercial properties. I'm doing value add opportunities with 3 strata titled developments, and we're helping clients across Queensland and across Victoria buy properties with cosmetic value add potential, with granny flat potential, and with development potential, where they can take advantage of these tax changes, build a dwelling out the back, get the negative gearing, get the capital gains tax benefits, and potentially sell the front property and then go again. So it's all about customizing your strategy specifically for your circumstances. So this has been the top media headlines at the moment. The boom is over and the bubbles burst, but I think the reality is you need to take stock of your own circumstances. It's all well and good to listen to the media and to listen to the hype and to keep your ear to the ground, but at the end of the day, you can only control your side of the equation. You can't control what the government does. You can't control how much info the media is putting out. You can only control how much you're saving, how much you're investing in. Are you getting the team behind you in terms of the mortgage broker, the buyer's agent, the property manager, the builder, having that team around you to help you get where you want to go? If you do want help buying in Queensland or buying in Victoria at this point in time, head over to purposeproperty.com.au to book in a free chat with myself. I'd love to sit down with you, break down what's happening in the wider market, and specifically talk to where you're at, what your borrowing capacity looks like. My camera just turned off, so I will do an outro. So if you want help, head over to purposeproperty.com.au to book in a chat with myself. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.